Dear friends, what's meaningful to you? What for you is a life well lived? What's the point to it all? Have you spent a lot of time pondering about this, like I did? The search for meaning in life is an instinctual desire for most people. For me, since I was a teenager, I've been endlessly questioning what is the point to this whole rigmarole of living? What is the meaning to all of that? What's meaningful to me? Although I'm obviously no expert in any relevant field, I just thought that today, as friends, I would sit down and share some of my personal thoughts and experiences on this topic. I guess mainly I was obsessed with finding meaning because for a very long time I didn't feel that my life was meaningful. As a teen, I spent the majority of my life studying like crazy in order to stay ahead of the bell curve at school. As an adult working as a lawyer, long hours and high stress means I was then too exhausted to get up to anything meaningful on weekday nights or even weekends. Free time was too limited, and there were so many easy distractions: the sofa and Netflix, shopping, hanging out with people even if they were somewhat random. But then I realized some of my fellow lawyers saw the legal profession entirely different from the way I did. Where I saw paperwork mountains and legal blah blah, they saw exciting new developments in the law, and they took so much pride and meaning in their work and in excelling in their particular fields. I was so happy for them that they found so much meaning in their work, although I couldn't quite muster up the same enthusiasm. And that's when I started to realize, actually, meaning in life is unique to every individual. Whilst I didn't love the law, I loved surfing, staying active, and being creative. These were hobbies I came into by chance whilst I was being experimental with my time and my life. So, as many of you know, eventually I quit the law. Over some years, I reskilled myself to become a surf and yoga instructor and a personal trainer. It was a wonderful change. I was much happier. Huge income drop, but I had so much more free time. And I also had control over when and where I worked and with whom. Although doing the things I loved as a profession made me happier, it didn't just automatically make my life meaningful. I observed that my work took on meaning to me at the point where I started devoting my best to enabling my students. I was face to face with these people, empowering them, teaching them skills they wanted to learn, improving their health, connecting with them personally. All these years I had been searching for meaning to my life. I had this notion that it was an important but elusive, singular thing just waiting to be uncovered by me, like a rare mushroom in a forest. But once I was working in the field that I felt genuine passion for, the motivation to truly do my best to enlarge and elevate the people who were my students and clients naturally just flowed. And I finally understood I now have the meaning I had been searching for so long. I had created it. I finally put myself into a life framework that worked for me. In that framework, I was good at making a difference to others. Once I wasn't barking up the wrong tree, career-wise, things just flowed naturally. And in striving to do my best for others, I found that it was my actions and my decisions that created this strong sense of meaning to my life. With everything that had transpired, my life wasn't meaningful solely because I was a good surf and yoga instructor that was appreciated by my students. I had always thought that this meaning to my life, when I finally found it, would be this huge, big, single, overhanging theme that would drive everything that I do in support of it. As it turns out, I think that for everyone, there will be many different aspects to life that are meaningful. Some bigger, some smaller, but they all come together as multiple components of a life well lived. I was fortunate enough to find a couple of interests I felt passionately about whilst I was still working as a lawyer. I started surfing and painting already back then. But at that time, they were just hobbies. Would I have said that they were things that I lived for? Probably not. But once I had loads more free time in my new life, I don't just get to do all the stuff that I like, which, by the way, over the years have grown beyond just surfing and painting to include things like cooking, gardening, creating videos, and many more. I am actually actively driving to a higher level of ability in all of these areas. For me, it hasn't just been about being able to do these things and just pass time happily. It's the attitude with which these endeavors are undertaken. It was my decision to invest my best into these areas of interest that created meaning for me behind these activities. Along the way, I also came to realize there's a lot of meaning right here, all around us, in every moment. It's usually all just being overlooked because we're distracted in the pursuit of more shiny things. It's just about learning to find joy in the simplicity of your everyday world. I had clung on to my lawyer job for so long because I was also striving for stuff that would mostly remain just out of reach eternally, because a lot of it is really based off relativity. And that's just how the human mind works, doesn't it? Stuff like more prestige, a higher status, being wealthy, all the shiny stuff. When I finally let go of all that, I finally had the bandwidth to just sit around and enjoy the fragrance of a good cup of tea, the wonderful feeling of wiggling my toes freely in the flip-flops I wear every day, the warmth in my heart from being loving and spending quality time with my loved ones, my husband, my parents. Simple things, joyous moments that have been all around me all along. Just I was too busy and too distracted to notice them. These seemingly insignificant things and moments, they make my life feel fulfilled. Altogether, all of these things, my work pursuits, my creative pursuits, my appreciation of the simple joys in life, my relationships with my loved ones, they make up the composite picture of my life. Together, each of them, big and small, make my life meaningful and well-lived. To say that one is searching for their meaning in life sounds wrong to me, because it implies that such meaning is external and independent to one. Through my life experiences, I strongly disagree. I believe we create our own meanings in life through our actions and decisions, through our love and our passion, through doing our best, through devoting ourselves to what we feel for and to our loved ones. This is what I think is how to create a meaningful life, a life that is well lived. Do you agree? What do you think? I hope you enjoyed this video and found it helpful. Don't forget to click like if you did, and to subscribe to the channel That'll just help the channel to grow, so thank you very much. I guess I'll see you in future videos. Bye!